Assalamu alaikum to you all watching us, and a happy Sunday to you all watching us. Thanks for joining us, and this is House of Commons. In the days of the old, the Pharisees and Sadducees played a key role in shaping the policies of the Jewish people. They were the police of the nation at the time, and they kept on attacking Christ whenever Christ was preaching a values that is against their values or against the Jewish values. The Pharisees and Sadducees in one instance attacked Jesus when he told someone that go in peace, for your sins have been forgiven. They came and met Jesus and they asked, who is he that has the power to forgive sin? And Jesus also stood and asked them, in whose name was John the Baptist casting out demons and healing the sick? They went and consulted among themselves and discussed and said, if we come and tell him that it was in the name of God, then he will ask, why are you asking? If we go and tell him that it was in the name of Satan, then the people who believe in him and believe in John the Baptist, who are all here present, will charge us for blaspheming, and they will stone us to death. They went to Jesus and said, we don't know. Then Jesus told them, of all the disciples, of all born by men, there is none as great as John the Baptist. However, in the kingdom of God, he is the least. This, in a contemporary society, the Pharisees and Sadducees are the elite of our region, the elite of our respective divisions, the elite of our respective constituencies, the elite of our different localities. They are the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They are the men and women that has a command button to challenge the status quo, to ensure that laws are respected, human beings' lives are protected, to ensure that the Constitution is fully implemented and policies made in that locality is respected. These are the Pharisees and Sadducees, who we call the elite. But these days, the elite in the northwest, southwest, west region, far north, all the other parts of the nation are seemingly not playing the role that the Pharisees and the Sadducees played in the days of the old. It is common to see them quiet and silent when key issues are taking place in the nation. For example, there is an ongoing intertribal war in the far north region where scores of people have been killed, and the United Nations Human Rights, that's the UNHCR, published on Friday that 30,000 fled to Chad, and among them 10,000 in Germany. These are statistics published by the United Nations, yet the elite in these regions are yet to officially make a statement to address this, and the state in itself is yet to officially send out the communique. A similar situation is in the northwest region when the chief of Bamenda was kidnapped, and of course we are witnessing that the elite in that locality, they are still quiet, and we are witnessing the burnings in the northwest region again at Bengui Road, and yet the elites are quiet. With all these happenings, one is tempted to ask, where are the elites of the northwest, the southwest, the far north, and all other parts of the nation, as the nation is burning and moving into chaos? Where are they? Are they not aware that they are the Pharisees and Sadducees? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mah Javise. You're welcome back from that transition. If you are watching the program, this is House of Commons. Today's edition, we are looking at the conflict in the far north region, the burnings and kidnappings in the northwest region, where are the elite. I begin with you, Senior Barrister Ashu Julius, to welcome you. Ashu Emmanuel, Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel. You know, I had programmed him to come today on today's edition, so I was kind of caught in the fix. However, that is a human nature. To test that you're human, you must make some of these technical errors. It means I passed the test of becoming a human being.
You were a human being from birth. Hello, good afternoon, televiewers. Nice being with you again today. Good afternoon, Sir Mutagah. Good afternoon, Kedia. Good afternoon, the anchorman. Well, this is a very gloomy Sunday in the sense that we are having loss of life in the extreme north, loss of life and property in northwest, in Bamenda. And like the anchorman rightly said, the reactions of the international community, of the elites, and the population itself is still awaited. This is very, very sad. We were talking about the extreme north.
Yeah.
The situation in the extreme north is that the Ahidjo government, that thing started with the Ahidjo government. Ahidjo government allowed this situation to deteriorate because back then it was said that Ahidjo was from there, was of Arab Shua origin, that's a pearl. And they are the people who are the businessmen, they are the people who are the cattle rearers. And up there it is the Arab Shuas that are looked upon as the rich people, as the people who are in the sun. Then the villagers, the Musgum, are the people who are the farmers. And for a long time, most of their children had not gone to school. It's just now that they are struggling to come out of oblivion. So the problem that is there is arising from that of water shortage. Since this is a desert or semi-desert area, the cattle and the people fight for water from the same source. And over the years, they've been tolerating it. But this time around, it looks like the heat is very high, and the people can't tolerate that the cattle drink all the water and they have nothing to drink. So a big problem erupted, and the administration tried in its own way to solve, but they couldn't, because when people are thirsty and hungry, you cannot solve the problem by giving them speeches.
By communiques.
You cannot solve that type of problem by making speeches and signing orders and communiques. You need to provide water points. You need to provide wells that will give people the water. Apparently, this government has not satisfied that want, and the population decided to take to arms. They don't have Kalashnikov, but they took to their traditional weapons of spear, bows and arrows, and machetes, long knives, and all that. We all seeing the result. It's a very deplorable situation. Like you rightly said, the refugee situation is deplorable.
Yeah, the UNHCR said 30,000 people have fled already.
We have evidence from Chad. Chadians themselves have been talking and calling on Cameroon to do something to abate the situation.
10,000 alone are in Jamina, and the military president says it's heavy.
It's very heavy for a town that doesn't have its own. To have that type of population, it's really heavy. So something has to be done. I think that the government should first of all send enough equipment up there so that they produce boreholes that can give people water. Maybe send water tanks to supply them water, so that, because if they have the water, I think they're going to stop fighting.
What is so difficult, Senior Barrister? We have Dubai, that is a pure desertic area. They have water.
Mr. Javise, you see, this is a matter of political will. You remember the last time the president went up north, there was a banner saying "Nous ne sommes plus les moutons." You see, there was a banner that they said "Nous ne sommes plus les moutons." The people have always been clamoring for water, but the government doesn't seem to be giving a listening ear. Okay. And like I said, we have been up there. We saw it. You see, we came up with the proposal, with many proposals as to how that water problem can be solved. It's a very simple thing. You see, during the rainy season, when the rains come, you can create artificial lakes that can keep the water, because there's a lot of water there when it rains. You can stop the water from going away by creating artificial lakes. Then you can now produce boreholes that can be run by solar energy. I don't know why these people find it so difficult. You can even produce those are manually managed. But I don't understand why this government finds it difficult to do that.
Kedia Robert Malaki, the UN puts it on Friday, as of Friday, 30,000 have fled from the far north region, and they are into Chad. 10,000 alone is in Jamina, and the rest are spread all over the other area of Chad. It is a difficult situation. We were told that a condolence was sent by the Minister of Communication, talked about the condolence. So how do we explain that till date, as we speak, the government has not sent additional security in the area as we see in other regions like in the northwest and southwest region?
Greetings, Mr. Javise. Greetings to my co-panelists. Greetings to all our viewers, especially Honorable Ngala Gerard and Shea Breeze, and most importantly, the head of state, President Paul Biya. To proceed with what is happening there, we know that this issue has been there quite a while now. And the issue of desertification is a problem that most countries in the sub-Saharan Africa, they do face. And it is very, very expensive to conserve water in those areas. However, we should also accept the fact that there has always been a problem between farmers and cattle rearers everywhere. Now, what we have talked about cattle rearing, we have cattle rearing that they are at the same spot, surrounded where they are being fed, and with the one that they are being moved along by headmen to feed these cattle. So these are the problems we have. And even in Nigeria, we do have that problem in Nigeria. And the case of Nigeria too was very terrible, because you need to move these cattle to drink water. At times they even go into the farms of farmers and get their crops. So it is really a serious problem. It has nothing to do if the former president Ahmadu Ahijo come from the Arab Shua group or any other thing. However, the president of the republic, we saw him coming out to express his sympathy, to express his condolences to those that have really been touched with regards to this crisis that is going on. And the information came through the Minister of Communication, Emmanuel Rene Sadi, that came out to express the condolences from the head of state. However, I will not buy it with you, Mr. Javise, when you say that security have not been sent. Of course,
additional. I said additional,
okay,
because we have security already in the far north and the north because of the insurgency, Boko Haram insurgency. I'm talking about additional security as to arrest the situation, to stop the killing, as we have seen in other areas of Cameroon. Like we witnessed in Wum when the military barrack was attacked. We witnessed when the early phase of the Anglophone crisis. We witnessed in the period where Banga, Bakundu, and Bobe Bakundu has had the problem. We've witnessed in other areas, but in the far north region, and even the reaction has not been robust as we have seen in other areas. If you can have 30,000 refugees.
Firstly, we need to accept the fact that the level of diplomacy, the government of Cameroon is collaborating with their representative in Chad so that they can be able to take care of those that are there, so and preparing for their return back to their region of origin. However, we should be honest when we say these things. We cannot compare the reaction or want the reaction of the government to be the same like in the Northwest. No, this issue is different. It's a tribal conflict, and we cannot analyze the tribal conflict with the crisis in the Northwest and the Southwest region, because they are two different things. They are two things very different, except that we want to bring down the crisis in the Northwest and in the Southwest to a tribal conflict. However, the procedures to handle a tribal conflict is different from the way they handled the type of conflict we really have in the Northwest and Southwest that is serious. However, I believe that a lot have been done. First of all, as I said, at the level of security has been put in place, and at the level of diplomacy, since we are close to Chad and our citizens have moved to Chad, at the level of diplomacy, a lot have been done to ensure that those thousands of people that have migrated to the other country be able to be kept in a good, secure way as the government tries to put in place order. This crisis really has been there for long, but it mostly comes during the dry season where much feed is being needed by cattle to feed. So this problem always pop out, even in Nigeria.
When you say that we should not compare the conflict with that of the Northwest and Southwest region, are you saying that it is okay for people to kill themselves? Because the end point is that people are dying in the Northwest region, regardless of the course of the procedure. We are talking about people who are clamoring for ceasefire in the North and Southwest region. They are clamoring because people are dying. They want that people should stop dying. Cameroonians are dying. In the far north region, Cameroonians are dying. We have 30,000 displaced within the short period of time, with a hope and with a figure possibly to increase to about 60,000 if care is not taken. And we are saying that is because is we should not reduce or compare it with North and South because we may want to say that we are doing an intertribal issue. Throw more light on that.
I believe that you yourself, even though you are a journalist today, you have a lot of knowledge when it comes to conflict resolution and all those things better even than I do. And we all know the various type of conflicts that we do have, the international conflict, the civil conflict, and tribal conflict. So what I was saying is that you cannot compare a crisis between two villages and to come and compare a crisis like in the Northwest where people with an entity, but that were never independent, but people with an entity are discontented with the system of governance. There are two things different. What is happening in the Grand North has nothing to do with the system of government or how the things are being done. But it is just that aspect of cohabitation between cattle rearers and crop farmers. And I still repeat it, I will keep on repeating it. It is a problem even back in our villages. When somebody with pigs decide to allow the pigs to go out to go and destroy people's farm, it causes problem. And I believe that you know about the issue of headmen in Nigeria that have always been a serious problem. It is there, even in Kenya, Ethiopia, that's a problem that is everywhere. However, I'm not saying that if such problems are everywhere, in Cameroon, we should just lie low to say that since it is everywhere. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. I'm just saying that it's a problem we are facing all the time, and I believe that the government is doing that at the level of security with the forces of order that are there in the Northwest to ensure that there is security, and at the level of diplomacy, the government is collaborating with the co-government of Chad to ensure that a lasting solution is being put in place to end such crisis.
Sir Mutagah, you are a senior advisor to Professor Maurice Kamto, and you are familiar with conflict. The far north region is burning, with Cameroonians killing themselves. As you got senior barrister, Ashu talked about it and said it started with in the days of Etoo. What is your party doing? Your party seemingly has not addressed this as a communique or to react on this as they do with the Anglophone crisis. Is it because it is not of their interest, or is it because the area will not give them a political gain?
Mr. Journalist, I want to say that sometimes they say he that is not informed is deformed, though deformation and information are not antonyms, because the direct antonym of being not informed is uninformed. So what I want to say is that you will permit me greet some people because you just introduced me. Let me greet Mr. Ndasi Henry of the Anong village and the entire Anong youth, especially the Douala branch youth president, Mr. Genja Kingsley, and the people of the Batbo subdivision, my division of origin, and the militants of the Cameroon Renaissance movement, million of them that are watching this program this afternoon. You rightly talk of the Cameroon Renaissance movement, but I would like to debunk it because President Maurice Kamto is one of those president of political parties in Cameroon that his ears are constantly on the ground. And if you have been following him up on his Facebook page and even the communication of most of our militants on different TV platforms, you would know that nothing escapes our memory or our minds. We are rarely informed, and I think last week on a sister channel that I wouldn't make their publicity here, we had one of our militants who is also a cadre of the party from the northern region, Metachek Ali, and others who were also on a different platform, they spoke on it, and what they gave was exactly the party stance. So the party has not been neglecting the events that are unfolding in the northern region of Cameroon. When I heard my co-panelists spoke about the crisis in the northwest, in the northern region, and especially maybe saying it's not something that is so heavy, I want to remind them.
It's so heavy. That's not what I
Let him
said.
No,
it cannot be
no,
compared
let him land.
No, it's blasphemy.
No, he's not blasphemy.
No, they don't
let him land. I'll give you time. I'll give you time
Okay.
to speak too.
No, Mr. Kedia, I'm not surprised.
No, you don't lie on the platform.
No, let him land.
I don't accept lies.
Let him land. You know, senior barrister too is yes, right? We must allow people to land.
It's part of the. I didn't call names. He just felt himself guilty. That's why the barrister is quiet, because he did not consume. You know, when you hold a guilty man, he reacts violently.
Are you sure?
So, like I said,
Are you sure you didn't say Kedia?
Mr. Kedia is...
You are still calling Kedia. Very soon you say you don't call him.
Is very uninformed about the war in Rwanda in 1993, the genocide between the Hutus and the Tutsis. It was a tribal war, something that just sparked out like that between two persons. They took machete, and finally it was a national issue that led up to the killing of about 800,000, close to 1 million. So maybe he wants the situation in the northern region to degenerate and reach that point before he knows that it's something we need to remedy with some urgency. So like I'm saying, I would like to remind the Bia's regime to understand that a lot of things have gone wrong in this nation since Ayujo unfortunately handed power to Mr. Bia, because we are talking of his reign, 39 years of reign, and the northern region is still facing water crisis in the 21st century, that we have the solar energies and solar cells that can be used to tap water and for just domestic use, because these people are not looking for the water maybe to use in industries. They want to drink, they want to help their cattle. It is their cutting. They buy water from companies that supply mineral waters, whether these people are unable just to have that which can be tapped from away. You can see 3 months ago, I think one of our party's officials, Mr. Mamadou Mota, dug wells at his own village, supply 2 water points to his village, to the villagers of the northern region, precisely at Tokombere. And in that Tokombere, that is a village of the president of the National Assembly. You can imagine it. So you see that it's not that the means are lacking. The highlights of the northern regions, most of them are in the government. But you know, to maintain a people in perpetual captivity, you must deprive them of those things that can permit them to speak with a lot of alacrity and audacity. So water is one of those things. You keep on giving them promises.
So are you saying that it is a warfare policy?
It's a yeah, it's a
weapon of
it's a political maneuver. They keep them deprived of what their life depend on, so that every election they will come to give them promises, and they will continuously be living on hopes until thy kingdom come. That's why Barrister Ashu just said the people last presidential elections in 2018, when Mr. Bia managed to reach there and for a 7-minute campaign, the people flashed it on placard that we are no more, or we are no longer sheep. We are highly emancipated because we are talking in the Android generation. So you wouldn't find it strange that the government is silent simply because the government went there in 2018 and gave them promises, fake promises, false promises, which are not realized. And what would they be going there to tell them? I'm quite sure water was one of those things they promised them. So you can't come back to tell them today that they are killing themselves of something you promised them. So what I would say to the people of the northern region is, we cannot be killing ourselves because of a problem caused by an enemy. There is an enemy, and the government in place is the enemy in place. I'm telling you, that's the government truth.
No, how is the government the enemy? Because this same government has been providing them security.
Let me explain to you.
No, Sir Mutagah. This government provides...
I'm quite responsible.
No, I know, but I in as much as they're responsible.
Let me say, Mr.
But this government provides security. When the Boko Haram insurgency came in the farm...
Let me say this. If you can provide security and you're able to provide water to a person,
but you, the people, you cannot for sure say with all authority that people don't even have an iota of water provided by the government.
I was in the northern regions. I went to the 3 northern regions. I was in the far north region. I was in Adamawa. I was in the extreme. That's in the north, in Marwa, and you can call them. I went there. I had a tour, 5 days to a week. I had to censor the people. They gave me their grievances. As I told you, I said, we have an enemy we must cast out, and it's the regime in place, which is quite irresponsible, because this is not the only thing. Remember, before the Anglophone crisis is overdue, we are 5 years into it. It's as a result of the fact that we had basic needs in the northwest and southwest region. They were just revandifications. That of good road, that of potable water. I'm quite sure you're aware of it. The education system that was already about to be looking for. You see, yesterday, the streets of Bamenda